I'm 47, and between 40 and today, discipline completely transformed my life. Business, family, fitness, all of it. It's the exact thing that's helped over 1,400 seven-figure business owners go from stuck and exhausted to operating at their peak in under 90 days. And I'm not talking about some productivity hack or morning routine. This is literally the cheat code on how I went from wasting my life to living at my ultimate standard. And in the next 15 minutes, you're getting the entire process I've built called the Bridge Method, the 3-step discipline system that changes everything. But before I give you the system that radically changes your life, let me first clear up the biggest misconception you've been sold about discipline. You see, everyone's got discipline wrong. Like, they think it's about willpower, about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do, about motivation or mindset tricks. That's why they fail. After transforming over 1,400 men, here's the truth. Discipline is identity alignment. If you get this right, everything else becomes automatic. Now, here's how it works. Deep down, you know exactly who you're supposed to be, right? The business leader who dominates his day, not drowns in it. The father who's fully present, not just physically there. Or the man whose wife desires him, not just tolerates him. But you drifted, man. Life happened. Kids, business, stress, compromise after compromise. And now you're 40-something. You're living as a fraction of who you could be. And this gap is identity drift. And discipline, that's the bridge back to your highest potential. So here's what I learned the hard way. Doing more isn't the answer. Working harder at what got you stuck just digs a deeper hole. After 40, transformation is about becoming, not doing. And when discipline shifts from something you do to someone you are, everything in your life changes. The 5 a.m. alarm, like, you don't negotiate, you just get up. The workout, you don't need motivation, you just train. The family time, you don't force it, you're present, because that's who you are now. And most men exhaust themselves trying to do disciplined things. But transformation happens when you become a disciplined man. So let me get real with you for a second. At 40, I looked pretty successful, man. Business, money, family. But the truth, I was empty. 3 a.m. anxiety wake-ups, like solving these imaginary business problems. Waking up exhausted the next day only to rush into the office to start all over again. And my wife and I, we were business partners managing kids' schedules. Like, we'd stopped being lovers. And my kids, I feel for them, right? They got the leftover energy, which was nothing. And the worst part of all of it was my mind was scattered and just endlessly racing. Because the truth is, I built success, but I lost myself in the process. And you know what made things worse? I kept trying to think my way out. I spent over $100,000 on business masterminds, coaches, programs, like, you name it, chasing the answer outside myself. Now, I'd see glimpses of my old self and I'd get fired up. I'd chase the next win. I'd do this for a few weeks, but I'd always fall back into old habits and patterns. And this constant cycle of ups and downs, like, it just left me feeling frustrated, disconnected, and exhausted. But deep down, I knew the truth. I was capable of more. I just needed a different strategy. And that's when everything changed for me. I stopped looking for external solutions and started focusing on the man in the mirror. And that's when I built what would become the Bridge Method. Not another morning routine, not more productivity hacks. I'm talking about a 3-step discipline system that bridges the gap between who you are and who you're supposed to be. And it transformed my life in 90 days. And now it's transformed over 1,400 business owners just like you. And it starts with something nobody talks about. Step 1, elimination. You see, no one talks about this, but transformation, it starts with elimination. I had to cut everything out that was holding me back from the man I knew I could be. Alcohol, adult content, negative people, mindless scrolling, news and sports, accepting excuses, apologizing for having high standards. And each thing I removed created space for who I was meant to be. Which leads me to step 2, clarification. Next, I built new standards using the code. First is, you got to get clear, man. Crystal clear on who you're becoming and why it matters. Then you need to be optimized. Every system in your life dialed for maximum output with minimum friction. Then you got to be disciplined. The daily actions that guarantee transformation. And then finally engaged, being fully present in your own life instead of just watching it pass by. Which then leads to step 3, integration, right? The daily disciplines that bridge the gap. It starts with morning, 5 a.m. waking up, no hitting the snooze alarm. 30 minutes of training and then a cold shower. Now, the reason for this is you want to win the morning. If you win the morning, you win the day. Because when you do hard things, At the start, everything else feels easy. The second part is your workday. Now this is time blocking, deep focus, and no distractions. Because 4 hours of real work beats 10 hours of busy work. And the third section is the evening, like shutting down at 6 o'clock, putting your phone away, being fully present. Because your family deserves your best energy, not your remains. And then finally is what you do weekly. This is protecting your date nights. This is completing your weekly scorecard review. Because what you have to understand, man, is what gets measured gets mastered. Now, this isn't about perfection. It's about proof. Daily proof of who you are. And 90 days later, everything changes. You wake up energized without feeling exhausted. You attack the day instead of just trying to survive it. Your business runs like a machine while you work half the hours. Man, even your wife starts to touch you again, like really connecting and touching you. Your kids want to be around you, and you look in the mirror and you start to respect who you see. And that's because the fog lifts, the fire returns. You remember what it feels like to be alive. Not because you found some magic pill, but because you finally aligned who you are with how you live. And over 1,400 men have proven this. CEOs, founders, leaders, men who had everything except what mattered. They didn't need more success, they needed more discipline. So here's my question, man. How much longer? How much longer will you accept being less than you're capable of? How much longer will you let your family see a fraction of who you could be? Or how much longer will you waste your life? Because Rising Kings exists for one reason, to help men like you bridge the gap between who you are and who you're supposed to be. And if you want to see what that looks like, take the free drift assessment. I've linked it below. It's 15 questions. It takes 3 minutes. You'll see exactly how far you've drifted and your personal bridge method roadmap to get back on top. Because discipline after 40 isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally becoming who you've always been underneath the excuses. And if you want the tactical breakdown of building unbreakable discipline after 40, watch this video right here. Stay strong.